Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we are looking at the Iwata HP SB Plus. Now this is a side feed airbrush, so if you are on the market for a side feed airbrush, give this one a look guys, because it is a very nice brush. If you want some detail, comfortable brush, this is the one to look for. Now a little bit about this brush. I've owned this brush 8-9 years and it is absolutely mint. I've not had anything go wrong with it, so it's a very good robust brush. This is a side feed airbrush, so you've got your cup which sits on the side like that. On the opposite side you have a pin on the Iwatas where you can take the pin out and you can position the cup to the opposite side. So if you're left or right handed, you can have the cup to that side or that side, whatever suits your preference. Sometimes I'll put the cup to this side and just hold on to the cup as I'm painting. Other times I put it so it's out the way, so I've got a little bit more view this sort of side. So it's entirely up to you what side you put the cup on. Beauty of a side feed as well, if you're working on funny positions, if you're working on like a, say a motorbike that's fully built up and you've got to get down and get some funny angles with your brush, you can move your cup so your paint doesn't spill. So you can always keep your cup at the right angle for where you're painting, so that's nice. This is a double action airbrush, so it's down for air, back for paint. You've got your cutaway. If you want to do a quick flush, you can pull back on the needle there on the chuck to quick flush it out. To the back of the brush you've got an adjuster. Now what these do is, when you wind these fully in, you see you've got no trigger movement there at all, but when you start to move these out, you start to get movement in the trigger. So you can set your trigger to allow so much paint out, or you can have it fully open and you can have full control of your trigger all the way through. To take your needle out, nice and simple, just unscrew the back, undo the chuck there, you can slide your needle out, reposition your needle. If you want to put some more tension in your trigger, you can wind this one in, and what this does is it's just tightening the spring up, which gives you more resistance in the trigger. If you want a nice softer trigger, you can loosen that right out and you can get a lot smoother and softer on the trigger. So sort of as standard on Iwata, you get this to the internals. To the front you've got your crown cap, which you can take off. And then if you wanted to strip the brush, you take the next piece off there, you get your little spanner, and then you can undo your nozzle, take that off if you wanted to do a deep clean to the front. So that's a bit about the brush. Nice chrome body, easy to clean, and as you can see, it's a very old brush, but it looks like it's just come out of the box. So we'll drop some paint in it. I've got some golden high flow acrylic, opaque. We'll drop a couple of drops of water, and I'll show you what this brush is like when it sprays. So you drop your paint in the cup at the side. We're running 20 psi, and this thing gets super down. And what you'll find with this brush is as well, the trigger response on this is absolutely on point guys. You've only got to touch that trigger on the Iwata and it is absolutely bang on. The paint is there, gets really super fine down with ease, this brush does. Atomization's really nice. As you can see, you can just really tickle that trigger and you can get some real soft paint down. Fall back on the trigger, does some good coverage, but they just atomize really well. Iwatas really do atomize the paint well. So a really comfortable brush to work with. The trigger's angled just right for your finger. You've got a nice flat trigger with a little bit of grip on the top, so it's nice and comfortable. You've got this part of the body here, which feels really nice as you hold the brush. And you just know you can paint with this for a long period of time and not get any fatigue in your hand. So super down on detail. This is a 0.2 and it just flows effortlessly with the paint, it really does. I've done a couple of drops of the opaque and dropped a couple of drops of water in this mix, and the brush copes with it brilliantly. So price points on these brushes, off the top of my head, I'll leave a link in the description, but I think these are around the 220 mark, around there. They might have come down in price, but you are getting a very solid brush that is easy to clean, very comfortable, on point with the trigger, very good on the trigger. Really nice side feed feature with this, and how the paint works in this system with the cup. They don't let you down. Just get your paint mixes right with the side feeds of these ones and the microns when you start coming down on needle sizes. Just get your paint consistency right. They'll run really nice. I'm now running this at about 15 psi, and it just performs with these guys. Just get your paint right on these brushes and they work brilliantly. It's like any small needle setup, you have to get your paint consistency right. I've heard a lot of comments about people saying they're struggling with the smaller needles. It's the paint. You've got to get your paint right. There's nothing wrong with your brush. Your brush ain't malfunctioning in any way. It's your paint consistency. And as it's warm in the UK as well, when you're using acrylics, they will dry very quick. So get your paint consistencies thinner, a little bit more flow improver or water, and you'll be good to go. And that's one of the main things with airbrushing, is you've got to get your paint right. So always have a piece to the side and just test your paint, see what your atomization is like. If it's grain it, thin it, especially if you're coming down on pressure. You've got to get your paint thinner, because your brushes, any airbrush, they won't cope with it too thick a paint, especially with detailed brushes. You've got to get it just right. So that's the iwata HP SB Plus on a 0.2. Gets a big thumbs up from me, guys. I've owned it for over 8 years and it's not let me down. I've got all these brushes and it's nice to pick one up and do a sort of rerun review for you guys, because it gets me back on with this brush, and I just miss on how good the actual brush is. You sort of forget, because I've got so many like brushes that I've done like reviews on, until you pick it back up and you think, yeah, this is an outstanding brush. And I used to use it a lot more, but as I say, because I've got quite a few brushes, it just gets sat on the shelf. But it is nice to get it back down and have a go, because it is a brilliant brush. So that's the HP SB Plus. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, click the subscribe, press the notification, give us a thumbs up, shares, it all helps the channel grow, guys, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Cheers.